Welcome to the Crypto Podcast. You can find all our episodes on thecryptopodcast.org. We're also on BitChute and YouTube. You'll find the links in the podcast description. I've also got 4 other podcasts: the meditation, the speaking, the awakening, exposing fraud and corruption, and to learn Polish, as well as being a podcast coach. You'll find everything on bio.link/podcaster. My guest today in beautiful Florida. She's the co-founder and CEO of TouchBrick. Please welcome Shayra Antia. Did I do your name justice?
You did my name very much justice. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Shayra. I'm the co-founder and CEO of TouchBrick, as he explained. And I'm excited here to talk about crypto and talk about blockchain, more importantly, with Roy.
And because when I was doing reviewing for this, I'm very impressed because you're very young. And you have done so much in the crypto world, which is fantastic. One, not only just for a young person, but also for a woman, because it tends to be male-based, which is lovely to see. You founded a blockchain university. You might let me know a bit about
that. So blockchain university bringing businesses onto the blockchain, and that was focused on business use case for the blockchain. And so that's what I really focused on, Blockchain University. And then we actually did a in-person event at Tampa, and that was called Crypto is in Cars. And funny enough, that was featured with West Coast Customs. I don't remember if you remember MTV. Yeah, so MTV used to have this one a series called Pimp My Rides. And so they were there with us speaking as a notable keynote speaker.
And I believe it was the first, that was the first one that was done in the crypto field in that area, yeah?
Yeah, it was. NFTs weren't even being talked about that much. It was a very odd time. It was just emerging, the concept of an NFT. And so people were very like, what is an NFT and what is everything coming up from there? So it was very interesting during that time. Yeah.
And what's your own, I mean, obviously you've kind of started a lot of stuff, but what was your own kind of crypto journey to get into all this?
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm not a technical founder. I am not an engineer, but I have a lot of product vision. I do know engineering pretty well. My background is actually in biomedical sciences. I went to University of South Florida and I studied BMS there, and I did a minor in psychology. So I understand what product looks like. Engineering has a little bit of a background on that too. But really what brought me there was as a first-time investor in Bitcoin in 2016, I want to say. And that was the first time that I found out about Bitcoin. People were talking about it on the news. I mean, it was a very popular thing, but it wasn't the most popular thing. So I bought it actually at the height, which is a bad time to buy. But, as an early investor, not knowing, when the highs and the lows and when the right time to buy is, I did. And so that's really where the journey started, was actually investing into Bitcoin and then becoming a trading strategist and kind of going from there and creating Blockchain University. And then after that, a little bit after, I met my co-founder, and he's actually our CTO and technical co-founder. And so he had, Fortune 100, a background in Fortune 100, and then also a background in Fortune 500, and combining startup life and then also, established company life into the blockchain space. It just made perfect sense into what we're building.
No, excellent. And with the company, TouchBrick, so your husband is actually involved in that as well, yeah?
Yeah, he's our co-founder. He's our CTO.
So I mean, I know a lot of friends of mine, and it either works or it doesn't when partners are working together. How do you make it work? Because, it can be tricky, not bringing, work home, having conversations the whole time just about business, that you can have kind of normal kind of relationships.
Yeah, I don't think there's a time to turn it off. I think people have this idea that, yeah, you just have to turn it off. And I think if you force a turn off, I think it makes it a stronger desire to talk about it. And so I think we have a great medium of, we're like, you know what, we want to have a conversation about art. You know, we'll go to museums together. We'll go skiing. You know, we just went to ski. We just skied in Chamonix. We went to France together. We had an event there too. So like we did a little bit of a mix, right? We sponsored an event at NFT Paris, and then after that we went to go ski. Like, have that great medium. And if you don't have the ability to, then, you know, I always love to talk about art or talk about like new trends coming out like that, because it always brings it just always brings a new topic, right? And more importantly for us, we really find the great medium. Like sometimes he'll bring back work and I'm like, you know what, honey, I think this is a great day not to talk about that. We'll have a conversation and we'll be very realistic with each other. And, you know, sometimes work can be very stressful, right? And so those stressing days that are both stressful for both of us, you know, I'm like, you know what, at the end of the day, we started this company together and we didn't even have any of this. So like this company didn't even exist beforehand. So you know what? Keep that there, and then this is our lives, and we still maintain that very sacredly together.
Beautiful. Yeah, love it, love it. So you might let me know the company, what exactly it does.
Yeah, so some people like to position it as a CRM for the blockchain. I you know, I love to position it actually as a building block for the blockchain. So we focus on drag and drop flows for smart contracts. So traditionally, you would have to go hire a massive developers or an individual firm to create a smart contract. And, you know, a smart contract could be very, very simple, or it can be very dynamic. And so what we focused on was the dynamic portions. So on the drag and drop flow, there's an area where you can actually click on, and it has all the criterias. So it can be a dynamic NFT. So like, and if it is nighttime, right, it can drop this element and it can do this and that. And then what we really focused on was the how does a business, an enterprise, connect all their CRM, all their data into the smart contract itself, so it can be flowing all of that data. And then how do you do it in a very simple UI form? And so that's what we did and on our platform.
Excellent. And I mean, it sounds like you get websites now that you can make yourself, Wix, and there's a few others that you're just dragging and dropping, whereas before you had to pay a lot of money to develop the website, but now there's a lot of people managing their own website based on systems that simplify it. So it sounds like that for the smart contracts.
Yeah, exactly. And I like to even say like a little bit like Canva, right? Canva has an easy template. They have all these creators that create all these amazing templates. And so I kind of see a future down the line where that is almost implemented in the same way. But for now, we're really focusing on the product managers inside of companies, the marketing side and the CTO side. And so think of all those organizations inside of the company being able to commingle on a project together through an interface.
And with, say, payments, then like the royalties that go to, are you able to split it? Because I know that sometimes that was a problem, that it was kind of, if there was a payment system done, that it just went to one kind of wallet, and in order to kind of look after all parties, you can split it. What way does your system work?
Yeah, that's actually a really great form that we focused on. So it actually, one of the criteria like nodes that we have, it's a node and it's called wallets, participant wallets. Very, very simple. But each wallet can be designed for the residuals on who those splits goes to. And all of those can be assigned, and it's very in your face, like you can see all of that. And there's an audit as well to the smart contract that's developed right after.
Okay, excellent. And what about your own kind of fees then? How was what are the actual fees for using the system?
Yeah, so we actually have a metered model, and our model is based on as you go and create and continue to create. That's what the usage is based off of. And we also have a small royalty inside of there.
Okay. And are you kind of sticking with smart contracts, or is there like the normal NFT graphics and stuff like that? Is that stuff as well that can be used on your system?
Yeah, so those can be implemented. They're just added into there. So that's part of like the dynamic form. So the smart contract is created, but all those parts and individual areas can be added into there as well. And so funny enough, we were having a conversation with a large enterprise inside of the NFT space, and they are focused on gaming properties. And so when they focus on gaming properties, they actually just launched Anthony Hopkins NFT. So like, how do they like genuinely are able to create more contracts without having to hire all these developers, and then also having the asset inside of there at a more turnkey level? And so that's what they're focused on, and that's like the next generation of what Web3 and like blockchain assets look like, a little bit more, and an easier way to manage them as well.
And like with a system like that, because I think it was a Jake Paul or something like that, one of the boxer guys and influencer. There was a load of people doing kind of rug pull, especially famous people. Like by having a proper kind of smart contract system, it's kind of there without someone being able to be fraudulent when it's, let's say, a third party as such. Would I be correct in thinking that?
Completely correct. We actually even have a separate component called the regulatory audit, a regulatory compliance. And it's a little bit different from the rug pull that you were explaining, but it focuses on, are you bringing a security token to bear to market? Are you bringing an NFT to market? And it'll ask you questions that are AI driven as well. And so those bring out like a regulatory compliance area. And then when it comes to the rug pulls, what we focused on was the complete transparency of that audit log of the smart contract, to know where each residual is going, who where the payouts are continuing, and if there's any payouts to a wallet that's unknown, it'll be very transparent onto there as well, and that's automatically created within the platform.
Okay, excellent. And like I know NFTs have kind of, it's got a hard bit of information going around in the last few years, and people think it's all fraudulent and everything. I think it's the best thing ever, because what it's doing is it's allowing the artists to get paid instead of all these big companies holding the income and not even paying them. But like, has that hurt you, the way that everyone is knocking NFTs? Or is it something that's allowing you to kind of grow and people are seeing what the way you're actually doing it?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to have a creator economy that's thriving, and just like the creators are, completely getting all the residuals and all the things that they need to, because sometimes the middleman gets in and they decide, well, we're much better at a studio to create these properties. And so I think that this still exists inside of Web3. I think just that creators need to be a little bit more aware of platforms out there, or and take advantage of the technology, and really be able to scale the company that they'd like to out of this.
And when somebody say minting an NFT, because sometimes people are doing one of 10,000 or something like that, is it something that your system allows for? Because I know some platforms don't allow that. They're kind of more going for the unique option, or is it down to the creator? He does what he wants.
Yeah, it's done for the creator whatever he wants. So it could be either a token, or it can be an NFT. There's really, it's funny because an NFT is a zero. It's the only difference between an NFT and a token is the divisibility. So like, it could be zero on the decimal pointage, or it could be one of like of 1,000, of 100. It's funny how that how that looks like on even on the interface itself.
And are you using like Ethereum? What's your system that you're using for the platform?
So we are focused on 100% sustainability, sustainable blockchains. So Ethereum is one of them. They became sustainable pretty recently. They became carbon neutral. And we also have Solana support. We have about 15 different blockchains that we focus on, and the list is just growing. And we also focus on private blockchains, which is Hedera. Hedera has been one of the ones that we've been working with very closely as well.
I haven't heard of Hedera. Yes. So. And how do, like, is it that somebody can set, they can use Solana, or is it that someone can pay in them 15 different cryptos?
No, it's set. You could like once it comes up on the screen, you could just pick, which one you like. So we're focused on multi-chain, and it's all accessible.
Okay. And the name of the company then, how did you come about with the name?
Actually, we had the domain for TouchBrick, and we were like, you know what? We have the domain. Sounds like a great name. We're building on the blockchain, even though this is like, brick and mortar. So we thought about brick and mortar companies, like traditional Web 2 companies joining into the blockchain. I thought touch the brick, and so that's how TouchBrick came about.
No, excellent. And kind of moving forward then, because obviously you've achieved a lot. What's your kind of goals for what you'd like to achieve with the company?
Yeah, I mean, nowadays we are focusing on scaling, getting in other clients. And then our goal is 2025 to have some form of exit, some kind of, whether that's being IPO, or having some kind of form of exit. That's what we're really, really focused on. And, for us as a company, I think we're really happy about where the Web3 space is going. And we understand that, it's very tough, and every single month is like a year in crypto. I'm sure you felt this, every single thing that happens really fast forwards and moves the company into really great areas. And so we're focused on really being transparent with the community. And we're really focused on bringing the community along with our journey, because I think that this company has so much potential for creators and companies to join in.
Excellent. And you mentioned you have your own kind of regulation inside, but what's your thoughts on kind of governmental regulations, especially we saw with FTX and all, which is kind of, Gary, that was an MIT, and Gary Gensler, and like, is it something that would hurt you, or is it something that you kind of welcome?
Well, it's definitely something I don't welcome. I don't think anybody welcomes anything like that. I think that proves another point of centralization as a point of failure. And I thought, we were going towards this movement of Web3. And so I think it's very important for consumers to understand that they are putting their assets into a centralized exchange. We even saw this with SBV, right? The banking system, put your money in crypto. Oh, wait, crypto, you can't. Put your money in a bank. Oh, wait, you can't. So you have to understand that when you put your money into a centralized point, you're putting yourself in a very prone area to some kind of mismanagement. But yeah, I don't agree with it. I think that, where we are as a company, we're really focused on complete decentralization. We create the contracts, but doesn't mean that we hold the contracts at all. They're held by, they're completely encrypted. They're held into a system that's not even held by us, and it's completely owned by the owner. And so we focus on that full decentralization, like asset ownership.
And because that was something that I kind of discovered during my interviews about, say, the NFT, the graphic, that like I always thought everything was on the actual blockchain, that was the way it was done, but it's not. It's kind of stored somewhere else. So is there a system that, because like that was always my fear, whether it's Amazon or wherever, and people are buying, it's all right when they're just kind of playing around with it. But if somebody invests a lot of money, kind of speculating, let's say, is there a system that kind of it's in two places that it doesn't disappear if the person, for example, has it stored on Dropbox or wherever, or where Amazon goes belly up in the morning? I don't think it can happen, but who knows?
Yeah, no, it won't. For that aspect, there's different companies that focus on that, on the PFP, like the storage asset side. So we've tried to partner with companies that really are progressive and they're holding, a decentralized model.
Okay, brilliant. And just finally, because with the way social media works, especially for, when you're building a company and what you're doing and trying to, you've got Discord, Twitter seems to be one. I mean, I don't like Discord personally. I find it, I don't know, just you either take the things or you don't. What do you find is actually working, or do you think we're overwhelmed with all these social media channels?
Yeah, I think we're super overwhelmed with all the social media channels. I think Telegram is, I stopped using Telegram a long time ago. I stopped using Discord a long time ago because they became areas of just like spam. And yeah, sure, people are still using it, but it doesn't mean that will be continue to be the form of communication. And Twitter nowadays is becoming even like a mob filled of spam. So it's very difficult. Nowadays I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a very good filter of things. And then also I'm in private community like channels, and some of those channels are email threads, and email like Google Chats and stuff like that.
Okay. And like with your system, because I've seen it with a lot of like Ocean, like with bots, have you kind of systems, or have you thought about how to stop the bots, because just the way that they operate within a platform?
Yeah, so you're meaning like the bots that
like say if someone has their NFT project and they're using bots to do a bid. I mean, it happened to me, and then they never buy it, and it just raises prices, and are people playing dirty tricks so that they can get somebody out and then just buy it at the cheapest price? Is there ways to to stop all that?
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I don't think we don't focus on that too much. But funny enough, my co-founder, he has a bid patent, a bidding patent. So that would be a question for him. I really don't know too much about that, on that technical aspect.
No, but listen, thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. So you might let people know, how can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at shayra.me, or you can get me on Twitter at Shayra Antia. And lastly, our .com site is touchbrick.com. And any additional information about the company, you can find it on touchbrick.com.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. I'll make sure I'll put the links both on the audio and the video.
Thank you, Roy.
So that's all for the Crypto Podcast. You'll find all our episodes on thecryptopodcast.org. As mentioned, we're on BitChute and YouTube. You'll find my other podcasts along with the coaching via that link/podcaster. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, 5-star rating, share with your friends. Really helps. Until next week, take care.